Hey, friend, girlfriends, cousins, and everyone in between. Welcome to Between the Verses. I'm Kelly LaVerne. And before we jump in and start listening in on the women between the verses, I wanted us to have this conversation first because I don't want to just turn on a microphone and start talking. I want you to know why this exists because this didn't start because I thought the world needed another Bible podcast. It started because I realized something. For years, I would read scripture, hear sermons, hear teachings, even teach myself. And somewhere in the middle of all that, I would find myself thinking, okay, but what did she feel? What happened between those lines? What was she carrying? What was she thinking? What was she thinking before she made that decision? What does she believe after? Because sometimes when we tell Bible stories, we move so quickly to the lesson that we forget there were real people inside those moments. Women who waited, women who doubted, women who led, women who stayed, women who left, women who were misunderstood, women who had faith, women who lost it, women who found it again. And if we're honest, sometimes their stories feel closer to ours than we expected. That's where Between the Verses came from. Not changing scripture, not adding to scripture, but slowing down enough to sit inside of it, to notice things, to ask questions, to see ourselves. And that's where our first series comes in, Eavesdrop. Yeah, I know. The name is a little playful, but let me tell you what I mean by it. This isn't gossip. This isn't rewriting stories. This is listening closer, listening in on the women between the verses. Not just what happened, but what their stories reveal about faith, about identity, about relationships, about waiting, about healing, about us. Because sometimes we've heard these women's names our whole life and never stopped long enough to realize their stories still speak. So here's what you can expect: real conversation, real faith, no pretending, no perfect answers, no pressure to have everything figured out. Just thoughtful conversations rooted in scripture and connected to real life. Because faith isn't only for Sunday, it's meant to work on Monday too. And honestly, that's what I hope this becomes: a place where you can listen, think, reflect, grow, and maybe leave seeing scripture a little differently. So, whether you're here because you've read these stories 100 times or because you're trying to figure out where you fit in all of this, I'm glad you're here. And I think you came at the right time because the next episode, we start with Eve. And I have a feeling her story might not be what you think. Thank you for being here. Thank you for pressing play. And I'll meet you right back here between the verses. Real talk, real faith, walking the walk from Sunday to Monday and the rest of the week too.